Yeah, recording is on.
Yeah, start with the intro. Over to you, Mr. Niranjan.
Sure. So welcome to all the group members. It's been a fantastic week, and welcome all. I see that we all maintain a good health during these tough times, both physically, mentally, and of course spiritually. We are working on it. So welcome all. I appreciate your enthusiasm, and I appreciate Dr. Venkat Barla to his continued effort in continuing the Upanishad series for all. So today it is the fourth session on Upanishads, where Dr. Venkat Barla will be highlighting on the important topic of Katha Upanishad for the corporate lifestyle. Followed by he will be having a session followed by where Mr. Niranjan Rao, which is me myself, I'll share few of my experiences in the spiritual journey as per the request of Dr. Venkat Barla on the challenges and how there is an underlying hand which is going to help us, which helps us regularly in our life. So this session of Dr. Venkat Barla is going to be about 1 hour 30 minutes roughly, and I will be speaking for about 10 to 15 minutes. That's it, sharing some brief experiences 1, 2, 3, 4. So over to you, Dr. Venkat Barla. Please, I request you to switch on your video, and then we can start your session, sir. It's 6:37 now.
Thank you, Mr. Niranjan. It's nice to meet all the participants, regular participants and new participants. It's a wonderful occasion we are meeting on a very important topic. And it's important because it is important for our personal lives as well as corporate life. And I personally find all these sessions are adding much value to my life as well as I read through and as I present every week after week. I learn quite a lot. Thank you very much. Today's session is about the relevance of Katha Upanishad to the corporate life. We have picked up this relevance to corporate life because of two reasons. One is we seem to be forgetting the mythology and our scriptures as the generations pass by. We felt there was a need to resuscitate the connect with the scriptures. The second is our corporate life. Corporate life seems to be really missing the lessons which our scriptures and ancient knowledge, wisdom can offer. Now, I'll take about 5-10 minutes to describe the corporate life and draw the relevance to the Katha Upanishad much later. Now, looking at the corporate life, all of us have spent enough time with the corporate life. We have seen the battles which go on in corporate, the stress that we undergo. Most of us change the jobs in a fit of anger, go to the other job thinking it's much cleaner, and then later on find the other job is much even worse. And so on, the corporate career goes on. And not only in the lower and middle range of management, but also in the top sector as well, in the top boardrooms. For example, if you see, we have seen in the Tata's boardroom what happened. We have seen in Infosys board what is happening. So it's all human beings, whether it's a board level person, whether it is a middle level or a lower level person. Human being is what a human being is. More refined, better is his corporate life. So we feel that the ancient wisdom from the Upanishads will add much value to the refinement of the person, which will in turn help in handling the corporate matters in a much, much better way. So therefore, we have taken up this saga of going through the things. Therefore, let us connect with the Katha Upanishad today. Briefly, I will mention the elements which are contained in the Katha Upanishad, Later on, we'll go for discussion. Now, Katha Upanishad, Katha means the story. You know, after Satyanarayana Vatam, we do Katha. Katha is storytelling. Now, Katha Upanishad is an Upanishad drawn from Krishna Yajurveda. By Krishna Yajurveda, what we mean is there are two Yajurvedas actually, Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. Now, Krishna Yajurveda acquires its name because Krishna symbolizes black or the unknown. Shukla symbolizes brightness or the moon kind of, therefore it is. So, Shukla Yajurveda took birth much earlier when the gods gave the discourse to the rishis and sages. That was not very much clear, nor the sages were able to remember so much and pass it on to the next generations. So original, mystified and lesser known text or version of the Yajurveda is called Shukla Yajurveda because not much is known about it and a lot of it is mystified. In the later versions, a lot of studies have been done and then the sages were able to demystify the inner contours of the Upanishad. So this second or later version is called Krishna Yajurveda. Now, from the Krishna Yajurveda, ends of Vedas, as we know, are the Upanishads. And this particular Katha Upanishad is picked up, large part of the Katha Upanishad picked up Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. This is also, a few elements of this are also there in other Vedas. Now, having said that, it is called Katha Upanishad because it is a story. Now, let's see what is the story of this particular Upanishad which is contained. A very interesting story. This is the story of a boy who had a rift with his father. His father's name is Vajasravasa, who lived 500 years before Christ, 500 years BCE. He was a great rishi, sage. He wanted to do a yagna. Those days doing yagnas were common. So Vajasravasa wanted to do a yagna and he does a wonderful yagna by which he will be able to learn everything. He will be able to win over this world. So that's a kind of yagna was performed by Vajasravasa. And Vajasravasa had a son called Nachiketa. Was about a boy of about 5 to 8 years of age, an only son. And during the yagna and towards the end of yagna, Vajasravasa wanted to give away all his properties. You know, alms, he just boons to people. He would give his cattle, he would give his properties, everything, so that he becomes the sage and he gets the control of all his senses and he'll be unionized with Parabrahma and so on. So therefore, this yagna was performed. In this yagna, something interesting has happened. What happened was his son objected for the way his father had plans to distribute the assets that he had. Now, father decided the assets into A class and B class, like we do in corporate companies also. A class assets, in his own interest, he wanted to keep for his son, Nachiketa, and B class and C class assets, which he wanted to give it away to others. For example, if you take cattle, those days, cattle used to be the biggest asset. And cattle which were aged out, which were in the last phase of their life, which stopped giving milk, which take a lot of grass and so on. So those kind of cattle he had classified into B and C, and the young ones which have a lot of life ahead, he classified into A class, and he was giving away the B class or C class kind of assets to others and retaining the A class assets for himself. Now the properties were so huge that Vajrasravasa felt that yes, I'm giving so much and God must appreciate me and then give me moksha and so on. But the son, nobody knows what kind of senses prevailed upon him. The son objected for it. Father, this is not the way you should do. If at all you wanted to give away everything. Then there was a rift, and finally the son would ask, after a lot of arguments, and it goes to hell, a lot of arguments, the son finally asked him, if you were to give me also to somebody, how do you give me? Father said, I'll give you death. In his fit of anger, in that commotion, in that catharsis of emotions, Father said, I'll give you death. Because Vajrasravasa was a great sage, whatever he said, his word, a reality. Consequently, Nachiketa goes to death. He attains death, and he goes to Yamadharma Raju. After death, the Yamadharma Raju is the king of death. He goes to Yamadharma Raja. Yama Dharmaraja. He is called Dharmaraja because Yama is so much of law abiding, so much meticulous, and such a person that he is called Yama Dharmaraj. So no mistake happens with him. Never ever. Whatever due to you, it will be given 100% to the last point. And that's how he's called Dharmaraja. So Nachiketa, the son, goes to Yama, and he wanted to really know a lot of things. But when Nachiketa goes to Yama's place, Yama was not there. He was away. And he was away for 3 days. 3 days and 3 nights. Lord Yama was not available, but Nachiketa waits there. There was nobody to give water also. He was there for 3 days. Now at the end of 3 days, Yamadharmaraja comes and finds this boy waiting, and some indignation happens in his heart, and Yamadharmaraja would feel so sorry about his boy and would ask him, Mr. Niranjan will break here because the video doesn't seem to be coming. Can you comment on this? Are you aware of this? Mr. Niranjan?
In fact, I've been trying to send you the messages that your video is not seen. So you just want to log out and then come in?
I have already informed, sir. I have already informed that video is not seen.
Yes. We have been communicating the same. So maybe you want to just log out and then come in back, sir.
Me alone or everybody alone?
No, మీరు ఒక్కరిదే వేరే వాళ్ళది కనపడతా ఉంది.
Okay.
Yeah, you are now, your video is visible now, sir. Hello? I just seen your video now. You need to unmute. You need to unmute, sir. Yeah, perfect.
Is that okay now?
Okay.
Right,
Sir,
sir.
it is visible.
Right?
Okay, sir.
Yes. Now, should I start from the beginning or can I pick up?
Sir, you continue, no problem.
Okay, we continue.
Okay.
Now, we've been talking about the story of Nachiketa and his father's father Vajasravasa. And Nachiketa goes to Yamadharma Raja, and where he would not find Yamadharma at his house, at his place. Yet Nachiketa waits for 3 days and 3 nights, no water, no food, nothing. And finally, after 3 days, Yamadharma Raja comes, finds the boy waiting there. So he would feel guilty that somebody came to see me and I wasn't there. And Yamadharma Raja would ask the boy, what do you want? I mean, he's so indignified that let me do something for this boy. He would ask the boy, what I can give you. There are 3 questions Nachiketa would ask to Yama. Question number 1, can you send me back to my father? Maybe my father's anger would come down. I win the death with your blessings. My father would find me and he'll be happy. I wish to make my father happy. So can you grant me life and may I go back to my world? Yama says, yes, you are granted. The second question he would ask is, how can I attain Swarga? How can I attain moksha, heaven? How can I go to heaven? Tell me the way. Tell me the methods and ways of doing yagnas, especially the fire yagna. There's a method called fire yagna. We don't know about it. And teach me that. And I would be able to go to heaven. So Yama, because he promised, he would give him that as well. And he would know the ways and means of conducting the fire yagna, agni yagna and all that. So that is the second question he would ask, and it acquire the answer and blessings of Yama also on that. The third one is the most difficult one. What happens after the death? I want to have knowledge of what happens after death of anybody. What happens? I would like to know. Yamadharma found it very difficult to answer, and he was trying to dissuade Nachiketa. He says, I'll give you, in lieu of that question, I'll give you all powers, all pleasures, properties of everything on the earth. You enjoy, your sons, grandsons, great-grandsons, and generations together. Your Vamsham will have these pleasures. I will give you that. In lieu of this question of teaching you what happens after the moksha, because it is such a difficult question. But the boy was insistent. He was so insistent that, Swami, you promised me, and I wish to know that only. I do not want all these pleasures, wealth, and wisdom of the materialistic world. Kindly let me know what happens after the death. Now, Yama tells him several ways of explaining him what happens after the death. And before we understand the final answer, there is a parable there is a parable in this Katha Upanishad to explain how a person reaches moksha after the death. If you wish to attain moksha, if you wish to understand how to attain moksha, there are several ways of this thing. And Yama tells him several ways of doing it. There's one interesting parable in this Upanishad. So let me narrate that. In this parable, what has been done is, the human body is compared with a chariot, Radham. The intellect within this human body is compared to a charioteer who runs the chariot. The mind within this human body is the rein, the strings, paggal. And the senses of this human body are compared with horses, and the sensory objects are the roads, which are different roads which are available. Now, if you conquer this human body, these Arishad Vargalu, we may remember what is the Arishad Vargalu: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsaryalu. Now, if we overcome them completely, if we empty ourselves in the New Testament, in Christian mythology, in the New Bible, in the New Testament of the Bible, Jesus Christ is asking his disciples, first empty yourself and come to me. Empty yourself means completely detach everything of this materialistic world and come to me. Now, when we were born, we did not have these Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya kind of vasanas, but we have added these vasanas during the course of our life. Since we have only added, it is possible for us only to detach. There is nobody else who can detach that. It is we who can do it, but unfortunately they have built into us all these vasanas, and it is only with our wisdom, with only our sadhana, we would be able to overcome these things. That is the important thing, because the chariot will go well. It will run towards the inward journey that we talked about. Once we come out of the layers, the fifth layer, fourth layer, third layer, second layer, and so on, and finally discover the Atma, and the Atma is, a lot of has been said in this Upanishad about the Atma. Now, Atma is what is contained in us, contained in you, in this physical body. Finally, what is contained is Atma, and beyond that we have Paramatma, Parabrahma. We also said that earlier. Now, this Atma, where from this Atma has come? This Atma is nothing but the manifestation of Paramatma, the unmutable, the indescribable Parabrahma, which we have been talking about, is manifested in Atma. And the Atma is invisible, not physical, it is metaphysical. And this Atma has again got reflections into this physical world. That's how the physical layers have been added. The moment we unfold these physical layers one after the other, we would be able to find our Atma, and Atma, after several births and rebirths and so on, depending on the punya that you do, and finally it will merge into the Paramatma or Parabrahma. That is the moksha. That is the ultimate thing. You do not have any janams after that. This is what this Upanishad is talking about. Now, for the corporate life, what are the lessons? Now, if you look at the battle between the father and the son in the beginning that we talked about, the father was so vehement, like Hiranyakashipu and Prahlada also. We know that story as well. The father was so angry, so vehement, full of Madhamatsariyas, being Rishi also, but then at that moment he had demonstrated those things, and finally so bad that he awarded death to his own son. What the son did, he mildly accepted death. Hell will break in the boardrooms. In my life, when I was working in the Balarpur Industries, I had a very tough boss. Morning 9 a.m. I go to the office. In fact, I used to go to the office half an hour before. 8:30, 8:40, I go to the office. Boss will come 9:30. And his habit was to call the people one by one in the office and bulldoze them out. It's like that office was like a police station. And the boss is the sub-inspector. We were all criminals. He would call one by one and he would demolish us. And that's how the day goes. And we have tough targets. We have a lot of targets from Delhi. The bosses of Balarpur Industries, it's a very tough company. Internal environment is very tough. And how I worked in that company, I don't know how what senses prevailed upon me. I used to maintain my calm. One day boss said, he's a Punjabi, he was giving galia left and right, the scoldings left and right. He said, Barla, I think you better go and commit suicide. You will not be able to understand what I'm talking. All that I said was, so thank you. I closed the door and I went off. By evening, he'd asked Rita, his secretary, what happened? Where is Barla? I said, Barla is here. Ask him to come. I went to his room, showed the price list which I prepared. He again threw it off. I said, whatever you want to do, do it. Don't show your face to me. I said, thank you. I came back and he told Rita that, yeah, what Barla said is right. And Barla prepared the statement is right. The price comparison between ITC and Balarpur Industries. We were manufacturing duplex board those days. So duplex board prices of ITC were X. So he maintained X minus 500. So let him go ahead with that. Some people full of kama krodha, krodhi admi, we say in Hindi, bahut krodhi admi hai. So those people would behave like that in corporate life. Many times we get frustrated and we leave the job. We leave the job or we continue to suffer and we do the damage to ourselves and to the work that we do. Now here, like Nachiketa, before his father, can you maintain your poise? Can you look at him like a child who is crying? The child was crying. Although you are his subordinate, but as a human being, can you grow to that level and think to yourself that the child is crying? If you are a mother, if you are so big, you will love the child. Even if the child is hitting on your chest. I gave this example in one of the earlier sessions. I don't know which session, but definitely this example, the child and mother I had given, and incidentally it is coming. So please forgive the repetition if any. But then if you assume yourself to be a mother you will love the child. It is a mindset. It is just an imagination and nothing more. Can you do that? If you can do that, your house will not be a battlefield anymore with your children, with your wife, with your relatives and friends. The world will be so beautiful because you will learn how to love the people. So the patience which Nachiketa demonstrated is what we need to understand. I mean, to the corporate life, because these sessions we are not advocating like sages and rishis and Swamijis from Ramakrishna Math or Chinmaya Mission. We are corporate people. We are talking in our own language, and we are trying to understand the relevance of these Upanishads to corporate life. So therefore, here I would draw upon the Nachiketa's patience, Nachiketa's obedience. You know something, when Mr. Verma, incidentally the name also comes to me, please forgive me, Mr. Yogesh Verma fired me so much in Balarpur Industries. A week later, he gave me a car. The first Silo car, the first generation Silo car, he gave me. Well, you seem to be having a very, not a so good a vehicle. You use this vehicle. He gave me, somebody drove that car from Delhi and gave it to me in Hyderabad. Our office used to be in Sarojini Devi Road. And he gave me that car. How that car came to me? Because I did not revolt when my boss, my father, or my superior is undergoing a catharsis of emotions. They are suffering the emotions. I understand. I kept my cool. I kept my cool instead of revolting or instead of gulping them into myself. No, I just left it. It is not that I suffered. I have never suffered. I just left it like a passing cloud. Simply, I left it like a passing cloud. The child is crying. ठीक है, तो थोड़ी देर के बाद बच्चा ठीक हो जाएगा. Kind of a understanding that I demonstrated, and I got the car. The most expensive car those days, the long one, the white Silo car, the first gearless, first generation Silo cars which came. Now, the second incident I would draw upon, when Nachiketa goes to Yamadharmaraja, he wasn't there. Nowadays, what we do, if we go to a place, if that person is not there, what the hell? We come back or we give him a WhatsApp message stating that I was there waiting for ages together. You never, all that. No. Nachiketa waited 3 days and 3 nights. Look at his tenacity, look at his purpose, look at his mission to achieve something. He is, like Arjuna saw the center of the eye only in the archery test. Like that, you see your purpose only. Nachiketa had gone there to know something. He cannot come back. He cannot do anything else. He has to achieve that. If you are preparing for IAS examination, if you are preparing for CAT examination, if you have a target of 200 crores profit to be achieved this year, you see only that and nothing else. Let everything else not exist. It doesn't exist anymore. Only the target exists. Like Nachiketa, he went there, he waited, and he achieved what he wanted. He's a young man. I mean, he's a very young man. It may not be possible these days, but definitely a lesson, a moral can be drawn from these kind of the stories from the Upanishad. This is how it is, and I wish to pause here. I wish to pause here and take some questions because there is nothing much more in this that we need to dwell upon. except the parable of body, intellect, mind, senses, and sensory objects, and except the story of Nachiketa and his father, the three questions that Nachiketa asked, the Yama, the answers that he gave, and the last one is when Yama gave so many attractions to Nachiketa that I'll give you the whole world. I'll give you the whole world. He said no. He said no. I just wanted to know what happens after the death. So that's how the tenacity, the adherence to the target, adherence to the purpose that we learn from these parables. And this is a wonderful Katha Upanishad, is a wonderful piece, and it has got a lot of relevance to our materialistic life and corporate life as well. And in my life, in my humble experience, I have a lot of things, a lot of corporate life examples that I can relate to this. So we just wanted to share that with you. And the three questions of this Katha Upanishad, may I repeat at the cost of little time. How to win over the death. How to go to the heaven, and how to discover where we should go after the death. Three important questions, three important questions. Maybe in the discussion a lot more clarity will come. So I wish to pause here and hand over the session to Mr. Niranjan to take some questions. Thank you very much. Mr. Niranjan, over to you. Yes, ask some questions or something.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful brief session. Now, can we take questions for Dr. Venkat Barla garu? Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, Niranjan. This is Anand here.
Yeah, hi, Anand. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Anand. Mr. Anand, thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Hi,
yeah. So the question what I have is, you said that Nachiketa has asked three questions. The second question is how to go to heaven. But what I have learned from like Srimad Bhagavatam and other texts, there are higher planetary worlds than heaven. Like there are 14 planetary worlds. Like even if you do the Sandhya Vandana, we do that Om Bhuhu Bhuvaha Om Suvaha Om Mahaha Om Janaha. Like there is a Mahaloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka, the 14 planetary systems in the material world. And beyond the 14 planetary systems in material world, there is a Brahman, and there is a Vaikuntha Loka and like a Goloka. So there are so many spiritual worlds which are higher than the heaven. So what is your opinion on this? What is it which we should aspire for? Is it the heaven or something higher?
Yeah, good question. I think this question is a much more elevated question than not normally what we think. Thank you very much, Mr. Anand. Really, it's a good one. And it relates to all of us and every one of us. Now, our purpose must be to liberate ourselves from the current, from this existing world. Being in this world, we are not asking you to just go there and things. The heavens, all these heavens are not up in the sky. They are here. They are within you. They are very much within you. There is no point thinking that they are elsewhere in the cosmos. That is a very, very different way of imagination. The Swarga Loka is here only. And we are unable to reach those Urdhva Lokas because we are suffering in this, we are day-to-day materialistic world. We are doing so many papas, so many activities. We are stuck in this world. Now, getting stuck in this world is but natural. Nobody is asking us to do anything else, and having come here, being human beings, we have to do our duties, and let us do our duties very well. If you are a general manager in a company, run your company very well, and whatever you are supposed to do there, and do it. So this is the stage management that you need to do in this stage. Like Shakespeare said, this world is a stage where all actors. So you do your thing very well, and this is the materialistic person, the outer person that is there, but there is that inner person within you who should discover, who should get away from all these vasanas, who should see the thing and connect well with the Atman and Paramatman. That is how Ramakrishna Paramahamsa did. That's how many others did. So we've been saying again and again, we do not have to think too many of the heavens, the 14 Urdhva Lokas. It is good to read of them, it is good to know about them, but our immediate purpose should be, in this life, if we are able to develop detachment and discover the self, Atman, I think that should be in this balanced life which is left. Maybe you are blessed with another 50 years, 30 years, or I'm blessed with another 20 years, whatever we have different. We are already 50% into Samadhi. Balance 50% or 20%, 30% is available to each one of us. In this limited time that we have, it is enough, I believe, if we are able to attain this knowledge of all the Vedas and Upanishads and try to liberate from this physical world, being in this physical world, liberate, let the inner person liberate, let the outer person be connected with the physical world, but inner person liberate, like Ramakrishna Varu did. If we can do that to an extent, 10%, 20%, 30%, 80%, our purpose is served. Thank you very much. Good question.
Yeah, that was a wonderful explanation, Dr. Barla. I think the take is this, that the heavens are here in this world. That's a fantastic thing. We have Sujata Garu, who's got a question. She sent it on a private note. I'm going to read this question now, Dr. Barla Garu, for you. The question is like this: did Nachiketa wanted to live eternally in this world? When he said he wanted to win over death, want to hear from horse's mouth. So this is Sujata Gar, the Prashna, sir.
Yeah. Nachiketa, the first question Nachiketa asked to Lord Yama was that to send me back to, he was dead. His father awarded him the death. He went to the Yamaloka and prayed to Yama to give his life back. That means he wanted to come back to his life and live the life like you and me, but discover the moksha within this life. Very good question. I'm so glad this question has come. Discover, being here, doing your duties, you discover the heaven which is here only. You overcome the vasanas, you practice the meditation and find the ultimate God, and merging with that God, merging your Atma with Paramatma is the ultimate purpose. And the day you do it, like others did, many others did, we say, it is possible. And we also said in the earlier sessions, we said it is possible to, there are stories in the mythology where people resurrected after death. And in the previous session, we also said out of Pancha Pranas, if one prana goes, it is possible to recover the life through other 4 pranas, other 3 pranas, because Pancha Pranas are available. Only the art and science of resurrecting the dead is not known to us. That research, that discovery, man has to do it. But yes, this higher wisdom is available in our scriptures. It is very much possible. Jesus Christ resurrected himself after 3 days. He taught to his disciples how to resurrect dead people. His disciples resurrected dead people. He himself was resurrected after 3 days. So therefore, Nachiketa also came back to this world and then overcome the vasanas and liberated himself into his Atma and Paramatma. So this is the learning that we want to do. Again, we need to point out this aspect that the outer person has to do his grihastha dharma, household works, materialistic deeds, earning money, spending money and all that. But the inner person has to connect with the Atma and Paramatma. We come to that again and again. How to do it is a practice, and we maybe a lot more Upanishads are available, and we are learning more and more. This is the 4th one. There is 5th, 6th, and 10th, or even God willing, we do more. But I'm extremely happy to participate in this session, and beautiful questions coming. Thank you very much.
Yes. So there is another question, sir, I think, which is coming from Purnima. I just posted it into everyone now. Purnima Srinivasan garu adugutunnaru. Sir, not all the time it is possible to maintain hunting of patience for none of our mistakes. It is evident that none of the corporate boss treat us means subordinate as their ward. In spite of employee treat and think their bosses as their family member, then how we need to go ahead as an employee? This is a question from Purnima Srinivas Garandi. Sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, madam. This is another beautiful question, relevant to most of us and all of us. There's no good boss. All bosses are bad. I mean, you always find the boss to be bad. If the boss is good, he's not a boss. He would not be able to achieve his targets, your targets, and so on. So boss is always a bad guy. Now, having said that, if you have a higher maturity, when I was 25 years, I used to have mustache. My mustache were very big. If you see my old pictures, my mustache were very big. Niranjan may have seen that. Those days, if somebody tells me anything, my reaction would be different. But now, my reaction is different. I'm 62 now, my reaction is different. No, our elders used to say, Vadi papana vade potadu. Let him go with his sin. Nothing happens to me. Let me forgive him. Although boss and subordinate relation exists, you have to take the orders, you have to obey his commands, do the work properly and give it, and he would react disproportionately many times. But then if the child is crying, as a mother, what have you got to retaliate? You have nothing to retaliate. So that higher maturity will be only useful, and there's no point changing the jobs because all bosses are bad, and continuing in the same job, believing in your excellence. Even if your boss is bad, if your work is good, he will appreciate internally. Outside he is a bad boss, inside he is a good boss, because every boss wants excellence. I am sure the excellence that you demonstrate, the work that you put up will achieve you higher and higher things, although these problems and side effects is a part of the the part of corporate life will be there, but once you understand this, once you put yourself 35,000 meters above the ground, the Himalaya looks very small. The first example that I gave, I'm sure you will be able to, we will be able to overcome these pains of corporate life. If not only you see it as a pain, if you connect with the higher self, what is the pain and what is the pleasure? Both are same. Once Shri said in Mahaprasthanam, Swargam Narakam, Yemundi Teda, Locus Anta Okate, Focus Lone Teda. The locus of Swarga and Naraka is same. Only your focus differs. Mahakavi Sri said in Mahaprasthanam. Therefore, it all depends on the way we look at it. The plane from which you are focusing on the issue, on the person, on the boss. If you have that understanding, nothing will shake you. All the best. Thank you very much.
Very nice, sir. We have another good question coming from Appala Narasaya Garu. He's asking us, can you throw some light after Nachiketa came back to the world? What was the improvement he found? So over to you.
Oh my God, Appal, thank you very much for this question. A very difficult question. like Nachiketa asked to his father. Yeah, wonderful. It is not very clearly given in the Upanishad how the later life of Nachiketa continued after he came back to this world. But what he discovered was there is a ladder of, in this Upanishad, there is a ladder of attainments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 ladders which Nachiketa went through. The first one is Indriyas. Indriya. Indriyas means the vasanas that human beings, all of us have. Above that, you have Katha, life. Then you have Buddhi, which is intellect. Then you have Atman. Then you have Avyakta Paramatma, unmanifested reality. Above that, you have Purusha, the cosmic. Above the cosmic, there is nothing. It is Shunya. It is completely Shunya. So it's very difficult to imagine the Purusha, the nothingness, the unmanifested reality. Our language is not enough. We do not have, the man has not developed the vocabulary, the language yet to describe the unmanifested reality and even to figure out what is this Atma about, because we know only in this physical world, we have known a bit to describe and to communicate with each other. But the knowledge acquisition is not necessarily through the physical manifestation. In fact, it is in the earlier session we said it is it is not the real knowledge. It is avidya, we said. All that knowledge which we are getting in this world is avidya. Vidya is that one which we are unable to say, unable to describe, because we don't have a language to describe that. We can only experience through meditation. We can only we can only dwell into that and feel, but we can't describe because there is no language as such. So Nachiketa had gone to these levels and found the heaven here itself. The body, intellect, mind, senses, the chariot, the charioteer, rein, horses, roads, all these things that was said in this Upanishad, he had gone through all these physical things in this world and tried to migrate into the another world. The inner person had migrated into the other world. The outer person continued in this physical world. And that's how we are trying to understand it this way, although practice may be difficult. But I don't know if Apal, I am able to answer this question or not. But within the limited knowledge that we have, this is what it looks like. The sadhana into the unmanifested, undescribable, metaphysical world. And Ramakrishna Varu has shown it. With sadhana, you will be able to attain that. We have so many examples in English world, in Indian philosophy, in this last 100 years, last 100 years, 1000 years or 2000 years only, we have seen many people who have demonstrated the achievability of attainment into the abstract world, being in this physical world. This is the theory which we are proposing in this forum, that you do not have to go to Himalayas, living in this world, go to Himalayas, write books there and give it to these people that, oh, read this Bible and then you will attain. No, you be here, practice and show. That's what we are trying to do it. It is possible to be in this world and in that world as well. This is what we are bringing clarity. We may do it increasingly better and better. We are in the beginning. Thank you, Abal. Wonderful question.
Thank you, sir. We have another question. I do not know the name of the person, but here in the participant list, it's showing as iPhone. In fact, I've requested to that particular person to share the name, but I haven't the response. But here's the question, sir. The question she has posted is like this. The last sloka of this Upanishad states that Nachiketa practiced the learnings and attained Mrityu, meaning one over death. So that's the question there, sir.
That's not a question.
It's a statement.
It's a statement.
That's right. You are right.
Can I just introduce myself?
Please.
My name is Tulasi. It's not iPhone. Anyway.
Oh, sorry. Here it's being mentioned as iPhone.
Yeah, I know. I just want to make two observations. Just two. This last sloka very clearly states Nachiketa practiced whatever learnings he had from Yama and attained Brahma Prapti. That means he attained Amaratvam. He won over death. That's a different matter. The most important, in my opinion, is before the Nachiketa travels to Yamaloka, why did he ask his father, whom are you going to present me or gift me? Because he was unhappy with what his father was doing. His father was giving all useless assets to others as dhanam. Most of us do it. When we give food, we'll give stale food. Food which we do not want to consume. We invariably give what we do not want to consume, not what we want to consume. I think the greatest learning is this: give what you would like to have yourself, not throw unnecessary things. That's it. To me, it's a big learning from Katha Upanishad. Thank you.
Super.
Thank you, Tulsi Garu. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. Every time we meet you, we are learning so much from you, sir. Thank you very much. This beautiful statement that give the best. Whenever you have to give the best, not the least, which Nachiketa's father tried to do, but the boy opposed, and then finally he practiced and attained moksha. Thank you very much, sir.
Fantastic. Yeah, any other questions, please?
Yeah, remember, you have a 15-minute session, Ms. Niranjan, yourself.
Yes,
So you may.
sure. So if it is done, maybe we'll wait for another 1-2 minutes. If any questions we can take, or else I'll share some of my experiences.
Sir, one more question.
Yeah, Ganesh Garu, please go ahead.
This is Sriya, the preferable for the supreme goal. So if both can be done by a man, why do people cling mostly on the pleasurable only?
Sorry, I did not get your question. It was not very clear. Can you please repeat your question?
So the Sriya, the preferable for to get the supreme goal, to go to the God, okay? But why man need and going for the pleasurable things?
Yeah, may I answer that?
Yeah, please, sir.
Yeah, the human beings by nature are bad. The vasanas, the durgunas, which are in us, and the devil, which is prevailing in us, always drives us towards the earthly pleasures. It is very difficult to imagine, to accept, which is not so full of pleasures. I would like to take 1 minute in explaining the discourse Dr. Sinha, director of IIT Delhi, gave some time back in a convocation. He was addressing the outgoing students of IIT Delhi, and towards his talk, he spoke for about 25 minutes or so. Towards his talk, he said, "My dear boys and girls, now I am leaving you into this world. There are two ways in this world. The left side, there is one way which is full of pleasures, full of excitement. There's a lot of money. There are a lot of men and women around you. There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of excitement, full enjoyment, which is available to you. On the other side, there's a path of goodness. The enjoyment is not immediate. It is stale. It is dharma. It looks very, very drab. Now, my dear boys and girls, you would like to go on the left side or right side, you decide." Now that statement struck me so much. It struck me so much. It changed my life. And years later, maybe it's 25 years now, that I always cite this example. And at the spur of the moment, when you are doing a mistake, when you are doing a papa, you are in a different fit of moment, and in that you will commit that sin, papa, crime or a unauspicious thing you will do. In that moment, can you pause? Can you count to 10? Can you forgive? Can you open a window and see the outside? In that second, it may last few seconds, you will be able to do something different. But unfortunately, all of us commit these sins, these atrocities, these papas, momentary environment, and if we understand that, it doesn't cost much, it doesn't take much time to believe that you can do differently. And a fellow who is going to kill somebody, if he thinks that what happens if I don't kill in that moment, possibly he would withdraw. But he won't. He is in a fit of anger, he is in a catharsis, he would just go and do it. That is tamas. In that tamas, you will do that. But can you come out for a moment? Can you count? Can you pray? Can you pray? You will be able to liberate from that moment. So it is all these things. It is possible to do good things, although we are in this bad world. There are a lot of good people. Let me tell you, there are a lot of good people. Only the bad percentage of bad people is increasing by the day in this world. But there are very, very pure, good, and attained people in this bad world also. So they are the examples of we can also be like that. It is possible. People have shown it. Only thing is that we want the pleasures. We are not satisfied with one mango. We want the second mango, third mango. Not realizing that there are diminishing returns. The more you eat, lesser is the satisfaction. We don't realize that. Utility, in economics we have theory of utility, marginal utility. The marginal utility is coming down. You don't realize, you just want to eat more and more and more. So this is the problem that we are in. I appreciate the question. This is the problem we are in. But there are people who escape this maya, escape this enigma, and be better people. There are better people. Definitely there are better people.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Grandmother, you've seen your great grandmother, what kind of people they were, and what kind of a person you are. Because you are in this generation, you are seeing this generation, you are seeing your son, your daughter, and their sons and their daughter. That's how the generation has been happening. They travel outside, but the travel inside is possible. Thank you for the good question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Even though it's a
Nice. Yeah. So please go ahead. Any questions? We can take it, or else by about 7:45, maybe I will start sharing some of the journey which I've gone through very briefly, ups and downs. So we can actually, there is Sujata Garu was also she has shared that the samskaras or impressions that an individual soul carry along from the previous birth is mostly the impressions of sensual pleasure. The individual will have to realize and change his mode of living. That's what Sujata Garu is saying. My understanding. Good association will surely help in changing the mode. That's what it is. Yeah, Anand, you want to say something?
Yeah, Niranjan. Yeah. So just to add one point to Venkat Garu, I mean to the answer to the previous question. The question was, why are we tending towards the materialistic pleasures rather than moving towards God, right? So what I just share a couple of points from my understanding.
Please, please.
Yeah, there is the lower taste and the higher taste. Okay, so there are different levels of pleasures. So, for example, if we want to just give an analogy, if you want to make a progression in life, we have to give up our the comfort of our home and go and stay away from our family and go for higher studies, right? So that is a higher purpose in life. So there is a higher purpose in life, and there is a sacrifice involved. But the problem is we are not willing to make that sacrifice. We are happy with that current level, and every stage there is this Maya, which is giving the various kinds of pleasures, and it is an addiction. So, for example, we are like the drug addict or the person who is smoking or drinking. We are, because of that, Venkat Garu said, the tamas, the ignorance. Because of the ignorance, we are trapped in that lower level of pleasure, and we do not want to go to the higher level. We feel that we are happy in the lower level, and we don't want to leave the comfort zone. But the problem is, if you want to go to higher level, you have to make a sacrifice. You have to give up the lower level. So there are different levels, and if you go step by step higher and higher, eventually we'll go to the Parabrahman consciousness, which is a state of supreme bliss. Okay, this is a small 2 cents from my side, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. But I have another point to add. May I?
Yeah,
please.
Unless you divide yourself, unless we divide ourselves into two persons, the outer person into the materialistic world, the inner person into the metaphysical world, there's no point trying to think that the materialistic person is going to give out the pleasures and move towards that. You forget about it. Let this human being, let this first person, materialistic person, be whatever he is. I'm giving a solution. I'm trying to visualize a possibility which can apply to all the people. It is not that everybody becomes Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. But as a corporate executive, if you divide yourself into two persons, let the outer person do whatever papas and whatever all that is supposed to do. There's no papa or punya in the eyes of the Parabrahman. Parabrahma has created everything as a perfect manifestation of himself. It is our ignorance that we see it as papa or punya. It is our language. A little which we know, this language which the man has discovered is not even a fraction of what is required to understand this. So let us not think that this outer person, this is materialistic person, should leave out all these pleasures and move into that. If you are giving that solution to the mankind, you are a failure. Mankind will not leave out these pleasures. They will go the wrong way only, and that's how your vasanas, because the devil is living inside you. It will not go, it will drive you into outer and outer and outer, physical and physical kind of worlds. All that we are saying is develop an inner person. Let that inner person travel towards Atman and Paramatman. So the solution lies in dividing yourself into two persons. Not expecting it. Never expect the physical person to become a metaphysical person. I don't think I would be aspiring for that. This physical body has to enjoy all the pleasures and die its own way. It is a mass of chemicals. It is a mass of this material, this mitti. Let it do it. We are not talking of this Patika mode. There was that song. Matika. Matika mole. We are not talking of this, but we are talking of a spiritual person, material person. That spiritual person will travel into materialistic. So therefore, our solution is that being here, that is how we are trying to craft this solution. We have no religion, we have no caste, we have no other considerations at all. We only know two persons. The outer person, physical person, which is so beautiful, wearing a tie, having a beautiful personality, physical personality, and so on. Let that do whatever it wants. If anybody is trying to stop him from doing this worldly pleasures, it will be a failure. 2000 years, all these granthas have been written. Has any change come in? Another 2000 years, do you expect any change to happen with this person, with this materialistic person? He is born like that, he will die like that, he will enjoy, he is born to enjoy, let him enjoy. The point is, can you develop a spiritual person inside? That is what we are saying, that the spiritual person can definitely detach and travel towards the Atman and Paramatma. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor.
That's a very good model, sir. In fact, some of the things what you're saying, I've experienced it in my life as well, which I'm going to share now as we go into that particular discussion. Maybe I can start at 8 o'clock, but it's a very good discussion that's going on and very practical in terms of the model, what we have to do and apply in our corporate lifestyle. I think you're on point, sir. Appreciate that. Yes, any other questions? We have another 4-5 minutes before I can start talking now.
Sir, may I have 1 second, please?
Please go ahead, sir.
The main aim of Upanishad is to know the self. That's all.
Okay, Shri.K.Niranjan garu, absolutely correct. No doubts about that. No doubts about that.
Yeah, very correct. One line answer.
One line answer, sir. Self-realization. That's the whole goal. Absolutely. Yes, I think if the forum is okay, sir, do you think I should start now so that we can move, or we wait? What do you suggest?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, start your session, and then we may take a few questions at the end of your session. So you can. Over to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So actually the point what we are trying to drive here, it was not in my mind also to give this kind of sharing these kind of things, but it's purely the inspiration of Dr.Venkat Barla garu that I'm coming out, and then I'm going to share whatever I'm going to share now. Otherwise, I have no intention of sharing these things for public opinion. But then Dr. Venkat Barla garu, what he suggested is these are the life experiences. What if we share, there will be so many people who will be experiencing it. And we, as an initiative, what we are taking in, we should also be sharing things so that people get that kind of an inspiration, and they see that these things are even relevant even today. These things are relevant in our daily life. So I will share my experiences. I've been blessed because of my father, I would say. He was my first guru and initiation into my, I would say, more of a religious journey. It started with my father. With all due respects and pranams to my father. He was the person who has inspired me in this direction, number one, but he's no more now. My journey has, I've seen the peaks of my life, and I've seen the troughs of my life, and also I'm again seeing my peaks of life. I'm coming back. So the life is like up and down, which keeps on going on. Now, the entire thing, what I have observed over a period of time is this, that there is an underlying hand. There is an underlying hand which really protects us. It carries us from time to time. From time to time, like the Upanishads also, they say that there is a underlying current which keeps on moving, and it takes us to the next level and to the next level and to the next level. So when I've seen this happening, I will share some practical examples. I've been doing Gayatri Sadhana. So one of these solutions which is being offered is this, that through the practice of Gayatri Mantra. I've been ardently doing Gayatri Mantra Sadhana for a few years. Looks like more than now 18 plus years on that particular thing which has been going on. I've seen miracles happening in my life. Not only in my life, at one point in time, I have experienced that I have lost interest. I have lost interest in all the materialistic world. I have lost. Then when I was looking at things in that particular fashion, I was very ardently doing my mantra sadhana. I had no physical guru at that point in time, except my father who was there. He was sharing, we had some discussion, but then he's no more, he passed away. So during this particular mantra sadhana, I have experienced few miracles. That is when the connect has become more and more stronger. More and more stronger. I think that's what Dr.Venkat Barla is also suggesting, that we need to share these kind of miracles, which people think it's miracles at the outside, but at the underlying current there is a perfect science that is running. There is a science that is running. Examples of this I will share is like this, because I have not structured my thought process on this particular thing. I wanted to let it go very freely and openly. During this sadhana, I have seen that there was a piece of land which is there. On this land, there were two plants of the same species. Now, I'm talking about these plants which are growing on the earth. Now, one plant is absolutely flowering, and the other plant is not flowering. So my elder brother, he brought it to my notice, and then he suggested, Niranjan, I don't know why this is happening, but this particular plant, both are on the same land. This plant is flowering, but this plant is not flowering. I don't know why. So I was actually working in Malaysia at that particular point in time, and after some time, I said, okay, once I'm back in India, I will come back and then we will start looking into that. So once I had the opportunity of coming back, and then I was here for about 2 months. At that point in time, what I done was every day morning around 6 a.m., I used to go to that place, sit and chant Gayatri Mantra along with that particular plant in a particular fashion. There is some process to that, which probably is I don't think it's a secret, but not viable to share right now in the open platform. So when that particular sadhana was going on, 30th day, 30th day, the plant started flowering. That is the power of the conviction of the underlying, one of the underlying currents which I have practically seen in my life. This was on the plants. Then I done some experiments with some human beings as well. These human beings, one of our relatives was experiencing a kind of a liver cirrhosis. So she wanted to attend his son's marriage. Doctors have confirmed she is going to pass away in 6 months' time. 6 months was the timeline that was given. then of course she had a kind of a faith in me. So I had a dialogue with her in a private dialogue, and then suggested, if you believe that something good can happen for you, number one. Number two, if you can offer me a blind faith, if you can offer me a blind faith, don't ask me questions how it works, what happens to all those things. So she said, okay. Then with her, we have done a process. In that process, the underlying current, the helping hand, the divine grace of Mother was so powerful that she lived for the next 6 to 7 years. She has experienced the rejuvenating of her, the life force within her. There was a life force which has come within her. Though I was away at a distance and she was at a different place, but this is the cosmic connect which is possible with the sadhana, with the faith which is existing. Number two. Number three, a pure conscience intent. If these things are there, we start seeing miracles which are happening in our life. There was this one person who had come to me asking, sir, I'm trying to get this job in my life for almost 6 months. I'm not getting. He was previously working in that bank. He applied it back, but he was not getting any response from there. So when he asked me this, I suggested him a process. Which is again related to the Vedic lifestyle. It is related to the Vedic lifestyle. That's why I suggest the Vedas are very, very powerful. They have these two khandas. One is a karma khanda and the other one is the jnana khanda. Of course, the Karma Kanda takes care of all our ritualistic activities for the benefits of the material life. But like Chepnaro, it is very important that we follow these things for only few things. You know, they are not for the actual gaining of some things, but they are for us to move from the materialistic plane into the spiritual self-realization plane. We have to be traveling in that direction. That's the direction what the Upanishads, the Jnanakanda of it takes us. Upanishads, of course, even the Bhagavad Gita and Brahmanas which are existing. So this particular person, I given him a process for about 20 days to follow. Very ardently he has followed this process. And in that process, the letter which he was not able to get for 6 months, he got it. Then he brought it to me and then said, Niranjan garu koncham mee chitultone meedi open cheyandi. I said, no, it is wrong. It is not me who is doing. There is an underlying current. Ammavar blessings me. It is her grace, because I am a devotee of Ahmedabad. You can be a devotee of your favorite deity. You call him by any name. Call him as Parabrahma, call him as Krishna, call him as Allah, call him as Christ, or call him as your name, Zoroastrian, whatever. Or a pure faith in the superconscious existence. I wouldn't say superconscious power or whatever. It's a superconscious existence. Now, I've suggested please go and offer it back to this particular Amavar Padalga Arpinchesi, then you continue and then enjoy your life. So he started continuing to happen like that. So these are the underlying currents which happen. Now, I was saying that at one point in time, I was totally vexed with life, stating, what is this materialistic life? This materialistic life is of no use. I wanted to leave of everything, go out. Like what Dr.Venkat Barla suggested, that this is not the solution of leaving, going to the Himalayas, staying there and then doing things. See, when I'm talking these things, my hands are shivering. All these things are like, there is a lot of vibration which is there here already. So these things are for us to share, be in this world here, and then do it. So during that particular point in time, I had a very ardent feeling which was there. I want to leave everything and then go out. Then I was praying to Divine Mother, Amavargi, Gayatri Amavargi, that she offered me a guru, a qualified spiritual guru. That's when I met one of my spiritual gurus, which was not my intention of going and then meeting him. It just happened like that. One of my friends by name Damarla, Srinivas Damarla, his name is Srinivas Damarla. He said, I'm going to so and so place, Nizamabad. And then there was this Chandi Homa which he was supposed to perform. So he said, if you want, I asked him, can I follow you? Because I just want to go out and then be in a place where there is only nature, there's only plants and only, nobody else except me kind of stuff, all those things. So then he suggested, yeah, you can follow me. So when I went there, I was pleasantly surprised when, after looking into this Homa Gundam, where they were performing the Chandi Homa, so I suggested, can I participate? So he said his guru has to give the confirmation whether I can participate or not. So I said, please ask him. He went inside and then asked, my friend is here, he wants to participate in the Chundi Homa. Can I ask him to participate? So, appudu varu Guru garu em chepparu, varu peru Dr. Anil Kumar Joshi garu. So, he suggested, yeah, make him to say. After all the things have completed, then he called Damarla garu and then he said, invite Niranjan. Come here, I want to give him the Diksha, which I never asked for. This was the time of Dasara time. This was Dasara. These was the Dasara times where, if you see now the dotted lines which are connecting, I am praying for Amavaru. And she has brought me to the position which I don't even know where it exists. I don't even know. And then there is a guru who is coming in to give you the mantra sadhana. The sadhana for me to take it forward to the next higher levels. So at this particular point in time, he has given me the Diksha, how Parabrahma mantra. Then of course, there were a few events which have happened. There was this, I could always see that there is an underlying divine grace which is happening, properly lifting, taking me from place to place, irrespective of my situations in terms of financial ups and downs, in terms of the career's ups and downs. There was nothing which was happening. Absolutely, there is a grace, there is a blessing which is continuously being taken from one place to the other, absolutely taking off. So once this particular thing has happened, then you see, I have left actually everything. After that, once again, I'm coming back where, because of my guru, he suggested that it is not that we leave everything and then go into the forests. We leave everything as a sannyas. No, that is not the point. The point is to do our sadhana internally and do our activities. That's what even Upanishads say. In the Iso Upanishad, it very clearly says that we have to look at living for 100 years. How do we live that? We live by performing our actions, our activities. And then he will take care as the underlying hand, as the underlying support, unseen. We will not be able to see it physically, but of course, like Paramahamsa Ramakrishna Varu Protection Ilagaite Chusaro and Tadrishta Mammavar Kaliste, may I be blessed to have a Sakshatkaram like that in physical form. So there is this underlying current which is happening. Whether it is materialistic life or a spiritual life, what we need to see, in my experience, it says, is that we need to strike this balance. Irrespective whether the other person is hurting me or not, if I can strike a balance, the goal in me is to purify myself as much as possible. And this is possible only through sadhana. This is possible only with Guru Kripa. This is possible only with satsang. You have to meet like-minded people. For example, if I am spending my time in a dirty place, say for example coal mines, if I'm working, I don't say that coal mines is a dirty place. Say for example it is all black, obviously all my body will become black. If I'm working in a place where there is all the aroma which is existing, like maybe I'm working in a like a Cadbury factory, my body will start smelling like Cadbury. If I mingle with such kind of people who have this goal to self-realize, and then they want to move or elevate themselves up to the next level, I will become like that. My chances of becoming like them is very high. Of course, this I'm saying for a common man, not for a person who is really ardently devoted. He can be like a lotus leaf or a lotus where it is in the full of waters or dirt water, but nothing attaches it. Luckily, my name is also like that, Niranjan. Anjananike Antukoni Vadu Niranjanam. It's like that. Well, it's like the Lord Shiva who is giving that kind of a blessing. Now, continuing on that particular aspect, after doing the continuous sadhana, these sadhanas are very stringent. That's the reason we say that the Vedic principles and the Upasana Padati, they offer us tips, they offer us techniques, they offer us procedures, how we have to come out of all these bondages, out of all these pulls of the vasanas which are existing. They pull us in different directions. Like one of the questions they were asking, why is it that my body is, I'm always seeking sense pleasures? It pulls because it's a natural phenomenon. It exists like that. It's a very, very natural phenomenon that everybody is experiences, because this we are there in the body. But with the techniques, with the procedures, once we follow these techniques and procedures, they are quite challenging, because that's another thing what Dr. Venkat Barla wanted me to share, the challenges which we face when we want to do these kind of sadhanas. So the challenges one will be facing, the first challenge we'll face is about our body. The first qualification of a sadhak is to have a proper body. You have to keep your body in proper condition, because the conditions in which we will be doing our practices will vary from time to time. These practices will be very tough. There might be no fan, there might be no AC, there might be no proper food, or there might be no proper water where we are working. But these are the kind of challenges. If as a corporate person I experience these kind of challenges, the troubles which I go through, then I will be very balanced when I come back into my work. I know this particular thing is not there. I will not expect the other person to do it for me, but I will also do it myself when needed. I will know how to organize my things from time to time. Then time becomes of the essence. We start working on time management. We become perfect on time management. If we do not respect time, time will not respect us. Time is the key. It is the essence. Time and timing is everything. In product marketing also we say, it is not the sale that is important. We think we are selling. Wrong. It is the timing that is important. When we adjust our timing and present it at the right moment for the right need, the sale happens. If you think I'm doing it, wrong. We have to observe the timing. That timing is important. This journey helps us to appreciate the time management techniques. It gives us the time management techniques. If I have to do a sadhana, for example, recently, one of the other experiences which I will share, when I've been to Sri Shailam for doing my regular sadhana, one of the sadhana which is related to Dasamahavidya, there are different acharas which are there to follow the Dasamahavidya sadhana. With Guruji's blessings, I've done 3 of such sadhanas myself, and it's a realization. It's a realization. The realizations are amazing. For example, when I was there in this sadhana in Sri Shailam, which happened only recently, 2019. 2019. This was in the month of October, Kartika Masam time. During that time, when I was doing my sadhana on Amavardi, one of the sadhanas is on Mahakali. So at that particular point in time, when I was doing this sadhana, maybe I should share my screen also for you, which will show that particular thing. Just give me a second. I'm going to share my screen now for a while, where I have shared this particular experience with my Guruji. This Guru is different from Dr. Anil Kumar Joshi. After a certain period of time, when I was traveling in my journey of spiritual Guru, he is a pure spiritual person. But then when the sadhana I wanted to do, I'm not able to spend so much of time with only doing the spiritual practices and nothing in terms of my professional work. So I was praying to Mother. I asked my Guruji, can I get a Guru? Can I get a Guru with whom I can spend more time? With whom I can spend more time, both in terms of materialistic life and the progress in the spiritual life. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Brahma has blessed me like that. Today, like one of my gurus, who is a CEO of my company, he doesn't belong to Hindu community, but he's an ardent devotee of Sanatana Dharma. He is an ardent person. He's born he comes from the Muslim background, but he is a practitioner of Sanatana Dharma for more than 40 years. More than 40 years, he's been practicing it, and he's a CEO of a company. He's a CEO of a company heading almost 9 companies. 9 companies. And then today I'm there with him as one of the directors in his US-based companies. And I've been blessed once again to have a Guru with whom we can have both materialistic as well as spiritual journey. Now here we need to understand that it is the ardent desire, the quality of the desire that makes the results, or that gives you the outputs. It's the quality of the desire. You want to become an engineer, you will become an engineer. But it must be ardent, it must be a burning desire. You have to fervently ask the Parabrahma, the nature, and then it will respond back to you, to your request. Whatever you are asking in that particular thing, it will respond back. We need to experience it. We have to open ourselves to receiving it. But like just now it is being said, even in Dr. Venkat Barla introduction, where if I have to receive something, first of all, my cup of this has to be empty, which doesn't mean to say that it has to be empty. It means to say it should be in a receiving condition. This body as a container, my mind, my Arishit Barla, or my entire being must be ready as a container to receive it when it is coming. If we are not ready to receive it, it doesn't happen. It just comes in and then overflows. But if we want to receive it, we should be in a receiving condition. And these receiving conditions are again given as techniques in our literatures. We should really follow the processes and techniques which are being advised. Let me share the screen which talks about one of my experiences there, which I shared with my, see, if you see here, are you able to see the screen now? You are able to see the screen? Okay. So I read it here. I need to share one more experience. Maybe you want to read it also. So this is one of the experiences which I have gone through. How Mother Nature, Divine Mother, also helps us in terms of taking us to the next level, how it protects us in our regular life once we are connected. So this is an incident which happened last year. Okay, this was in the month of October. Okay, I've just stop sharing. So I just stopped the sharing because that's a very small bit which is there. These are all practical things which are happening in life. My younger daughter was actually traveling to Kerala. I was doing my sadhana in Sri Shaila. Okay, I was sitting and then doing my sadhana in Sri Shaila. While I was performing this sadhana, suddenly there was a message which is come as an awareness stating that my younger daughter would be in danger. She might be in danger. I was doing this sadhana. I was doing the sadhana, mantra sadhana 1, 2, 3, 4, and this message is coming in. And the moment the message is coming in, the message is saying my younger daughter is in danger. My sadhana of Kali Amavaru, it started increasing. The mantra sadhanas increased, and then suddenly there was a surge of energy which has entered into the body. And my left hand, which was there, it just went up. My left hand just went up. And then drawing the energies of the cosmic nature. I was not aware of all these things. I'm not consciously doing it. It just happened. It just happened. I throw it. And then request the Parabrahma, the Amavarni, asking to protect her. It was a sincere request to protect her. I can show the video if you see what happened next. So this message came to me 2 days before. 2 days before. And on that particular day, she was traveling. She just jumped out of the bus where she was traveling, and there was a jeep which was coming in the opposite direction. But something pulled her back. And then she's protected. It is not just this happen. These kind of things don't happen to us without the underlying current, which we are able to connect with the universal consciousness. The moment we are connected with the universal consciousness, be it materialistic benefits, I've seen miracles happening in my life. There are so many miracles which I have been experiencing time and again. Because as a sadhana, as a process, as a technique, as a tip, what is being given, we follow those things. Once we follow and put these techniques into practice, it is not reading the books and then knowledgeably, intellectually you experience those kind of things intellectually. No, you have to be within. We have to take it within ourselves. We have to live that moment. We have to connect fervently with Mother. Then automatically, both our materialistic life, our religious life, and our spiritual life will be moving step by step in the direction it is supposed to go. Because naturally, we are there in that particular rhythm. This body is for that. And the only way to follow it is to have this realization. That's the reason I always call it as from self-realization to self-liberation. Whether I can do liberation to another person, whether I can make another person realize it or not, is none of my botheration. With my little experiences, if I share and somebody can take an inspiration out of it, like what Dr. Venkat Barla is also expecting, that some person might take a kind of an inspiration and then follow the processes, follow the techniques, you will experience it. Experience. That's what Upanishad also says. Upanishad says that, especially I think this is very well said in the Katha Upanishad, where it says that that particular experience is not yours if you have not owned it. This is the takeaway. The Veda, the knowledge, the wisdom of Upanishads is amazing. It's very, very practical. If that particular experience of a rishi or of a wise person, we are not putting it into our life, that experience is not ours. We have to put that experience into practice, put it into our lifestyle. Then automatically we will experience each and every other progress in our life. So in my life, I have seen with the blessings of my guru and with the blessings of Ahmedabad, I'm making a regular progress in these directions. And as an effort, we are also working towards identifying the processes, that techniques, the regular things which we could build it as a proper system and share with the youngsters. నేను ముసలిగా అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఏదో చేస్తున్నాను, అప్పుడు ఏదో చేస్తాను అంటే stupidity. This knowledge, this wise wisdom has to go to the youngsters at a very young age. It has to go to the youngsters at a very young age. They have to put it into practice while they are studying or while they are in their early careers, already in the working lifestyle. How this completely teaches us, especially the Jnanakanda, teaches us first about self. How, the importance of self. It talks about the awareness of importance of self, number one. Number two, it teaches us how to connect. How do we connect with the Parabrahma or with the universal consciousness or with the universal nature? It teaches us those things. Now, these techniques is what we would love to bring to as a small effort from our end to the young generation. That's the effort what me and Dr.Venkat Barla we are working towards. You're all also welcome to share your tips, your techniques, or your experiences to the email ID. Pardon me, sir? Yeah, so you can share all your thought processes or techniques which are there to the email ID called as myvediclearnings@gmail.com, which I've been sending in.
The video are breaking.
Yeah, is it clear now?
No, there's
Is it clear, sir?
Yeah, we can.
So I think. Yeah. So these are the things which happen to us. People think it is miracle, but I think it is a science. I think it's a science. A science, it's got a specific input, there is a specific process, and there is a specific output which we can experience in our life as a science. So the entire knowledge, the Jnanakanda helps us in terms of the Upanishad learnings or even the Bhagavad Gita learnings. They are practical techniques for us to implement in our personal and professional life. With this, I will stop my comments, and anything, please share your questions. If possible, I'll try to answer, or Dr. Venkat Barla. Thank you, sir. Over to you, Dr. Venkat Barla.
Yeah, it's a great session, and if any questions we can take. It's a wonderful exposition of the personal experience, and especially the invisible force, the invisible vibrations which engulf a person during sadhana. It's wonderful, and it's a realistic experience narrated from the horse's mouth of a person who's really experienced. So therefore, nothing like it. It's gold. It's platinum. It's gold. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions we can take? Thank you, Niranjan. Wonderful. बहुत ही अच्छा लगा. Very good.
Thank you, sir. It's your inspiration only. Otherwise, I don't think I would have shared anything on those slides.
Yeah, thanks, Niranjan, for sharing. It's really inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anand.
Yeah, we have Dr. Sojan Lal, who's here in the class. I think I would request him to give his impressions. Dr. Sojan Lal, sir. Is Dr. Sojan Lal around?
Hello.
Yeah, Anna madam,
Yeah,
please
I have a
go ahead.
question. self-realization, everything is okay, but where does service to mankind fall in this category?
Wow, that's really a great question.
Because, sorry, because we can spend a lifetime looking for what we are here for, why we are here, who we are. But then according to me, service to humanity is more important than realizing what you are and why you are here for. So where does this fall into the whole thing? That is my, question to everybody.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful question. The point is that to be able to do a real service to mankind, one must come out of the selfishness and the self-centered, personalized accumulation of wealth, grabbing the others' properties, doing injury to others, and me only survive, nobody else should survive. Let me fit gold taps in my bathrooms. Let others be beggars. So this kind of, unless one would detach from these things, one would not be able to do service to mankind. So service to mankind, real service to mankind, service to man is service to God. But it occurs only when you liberate yourself. A self-centered person would not be able to do any service to mankind. What he will do is, he will do the stolen money and give a part of it to Lord Venkateshwara and take it to Tirupati and put it in his hundi. That's how the lot of gold and a lot of things which we are finding in the hundi. So therefore, a true service to mankind would only emerge when a true liberation of the soul occurs. So they are intertwined and two sides of the same coin. And I'm glad you brought this question. We forgot this dimension, but then we were totally into Upanishads. And this dimension is important. And a person who's above these vasanas would be able to do a better service to mankind. You talk of Mahatma Gandhi, you talk of Arnold, you talk of Annie Besant, the kind of people who are doing a real service. You talk of Sudha Murthy Garu. There are so many people now and so many people then who are available, who have risen out of the petty considerations and are able to do the service to mankind. It is possible, but the precondition is that you liberate your soul first and then do the service to mankind within your means. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Can I add something here?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Actually, last time I think I had touched upon this aspect was the concept of God, or the concept of Brahmasmi is precisely that, that I don't see any separation of me from people around me or things around me or the nature around me. Everything is one. So when you say taking care of the humanity, is actually taking care of yourself. So there is no separation. It's one continuum as such. So when you reach that stage, then because of our senses, we are limited. Senses are a corrupter of everything. Like you said, what you gather from the senses is avidya. The real vidya is liberating ourselves from this avidya. So when you liberate yourself from this avidya is when you realize that everything is me. Like I had mentioned last time also, that education in India, when it was historical days during the Gurukul time, the first utterance was Aham Brahmasmi. That means I am everything, So there is no separation between me and the others. Even forget about humanity, it is The entire animal kingdom, the living, non-living, everything is included in that. So I should not harm the nature. I should not harm the people around me. I should not harm the animals around me. I should not harm anything around me. So my footprint on others has to be zero. I should not be affecting anyone through my actions or through my words or whatever, So that's the concept. So once you realize, once you transcend the mind and get into that kind of a mode that, yes, I am Aham Brahmasmi, then I will not cause harm to anybody. It means I'm causing harm to myself. That's the concept which we need to learn, the sustainability, what people are talking about, and the carbon footprint and all those things. Those were all old concepts. Now they have been twisted and brought into in a new jargon, in a new way they have been put forth, But the origin is there in the scriptures that yes, I should not be. There is no. I should feel that there is no separation between me and the things surrounding or my environment or my ecosystem. Everything is me. I would not harm myself. So I will only do good to myself. So that we have to move to that, But our mind conditioning and the way we have been conditioned throughout our upbringing is that this is me, this is not me, this belongs to me, this does not belong to me, and so on and so forth. That conditioning is basically wrong. Maybe the educationists have to look at things in a different way, and try to condition the minds, the young minds which are coming into school in a different way. Then only things can change, Otherwise, we will always be harming things which we feel this are not me. Not harming directly, but even indirectly by ignoring whatever is they are going through some pain. We just look the other way and we don't go to the help, So we have to change the mindset, basically. Thank you.
Probably I could add some points to that, Ms. Anne, where you are saying that this self-realization is okay, but how about helping the society and rest of the things, like what Dilip Garu and Dr.Venkat Barla were also suggesting, that the concept of these Vedas, when we get this jnana, it's water always flows from higher level to lower level. It's a natural phenomenon. We touch a fire, it has the qualities of light and burning, natural phenomenon. I touch any kind of hard substance, it is solid, I can feel it. So what the Upanishads teach us is self-realization. The moment I realize myself, for example, that's the first step. Like what he is suggesting also, there is no difference between me and the other being. The moment this realization comes into us, that's the first step. Irrespective of the caste, religion, these are all human made. We are not bothered about all those things. We are bothered about the realization. The pointer is the realization. The moment I am aware of what are the things which I like to receive, like what Amidi Padigaru, he was also saying that I do such kind of things to others which I want to receive. These kind of things, once we get into our life, put it into our own practice, it is the natural being of a human being, like a mother. For example, a mother automatically loves her child. Nobody has to teach it. Nobody has to teach. Okay, you have to take care of this particular child. Nobody teaches. Naturally, it's there within our system. It's hardwired. It is hardwired into the human being that we naturally respond to the other person's request when he is suffering. This is a very good psychological, there was an experiment which was being done by one of the famous psychologists. where they have observed that when there are 10 people who are existing and there is a trouble that is happening in a one particular instance of a lady where there was this person going behind her to kill her. So there were 10 people who were seeing from their apartments, but none responded, not even one person responded. This is the truth scenario in our life today. Why? Because we started living in compartments of our own comfort zones. We have stopped ourselves so much of layers that we have forgotten to give response. We've forgotten. We do not know how to respond to the other person's emotion. We've forgotten that completely. And what Upanishads teach us is this realization. That's where the knowledge is definitely important. The awareness is definitely important. The moment I am aware of such kind of a situation and I start putting it into practice as one unit, the moment this one unit is able to respond like a drop in the ocean, that drop becomes a mighty ocean. Drop by drop. Once it's falling into that, automatically. So the hardware thing which is there in the natural human being, it will respond for the social requirement very naturally. Who is having this kind of an experience, whoever is having this kind of a knowledge and experience, put it into practice, he will naturally respond. That's the beauty about the entire system of learning the Upanishadic values for our personal and professional life. It's important, and I think you're doing a wonderful thing. Your responses are also great. Fantastic question. Thank you. Dr. Venkat Barla wanted to share something. Please, sir.
Yeah. The small announcement that we would like to invite the speakers from the participants.
That's right.
Among the speaker or the second speaker in the next session, they are welcome. They can interact with us so that the forum is more inclusive with lots of experiences shared by lots of people instead of one or two people speaking. We are all same as you, and we are not, as we mentioned, we are not sadhus or we are not rishis. Yeah. We are corporate people. We would like to share our corporate experiences. Therefore, from among the speakers, kindly come forward, and Niranjan Garu will be happy to empanel you as the lead speaker and come out with your topic from amongst the top 10 Upanishads. Or you can be the second speaker, take about 10-15 minutes and share your experiences, your spiritual journey, and the specific examples that you would like to. So it is an open forum available to each one of the participants. Okay, welcome to the forum. Thank you very much.
Perfect, sir.
It's 9:15.
Yeah.
And it's getting 9:15. You may take one or two questions and close the session. Thank you very much.
So I think it's a welcome to all the group members, like what Dr. Venkat Barla was also suggesting. Please send your thought processes on being a speaker on this open platform. It would be really fantastic and a learning experience for all of us together, because we are already at a particular age with loads and loads of exposure and experiences. Please share your experiences. Please share your thought processes. We can schedule it accordingly. Yeah, thank you. Any questions we can take, or it's 8:45. We can close the session if it is okay then. Yeah, are we good to close?
Yeah, I think we have week after week, every week the session is coming up, so we can keep sharing the spiritual experiences. So every week there will be a lead speaker and a second speaker. So you can come as a lead speaker or a second speaker, bring your experiences and share. That's how it becomes more inclusive. So if there are no questions, we will close the session. Thanks. And thanks for all the participants. It's a wonderful experience. Today's session is the best of all sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, then. Thank you. Thank you all. Take care of good health and take care of the family. Take care of your profession. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, sir.